Yep.
No, I had
It's
the
so
wrong
far
one
out,
written
I
in here, so I had to fix that.
Come out here anyway.
Planning Commission.
I mean, the city.
You're the other new guy.
I think you're
Closest ones to them.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You only say out notices to 200 feet. Come in.
Call the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of November 17th, 2022 to order. Please rise for the invocation and the pledge to the flag. Dear Lord, we ask you to look over us as we attend to the business for the city of Leesburg. The decisions we make, we hope and pray that are pleasing in your sight.
Yes.
Pray this in thy most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, commissioners, you have before you the minutes of the October 20th meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or amendments to those minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve as presented.
I have a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
I second it.
I have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Sabrina, or whomever. All right, Daniel, it looks like we got a short one today.
We hope so.
You want to explain?
Been a few. It's been a while.
You want to explain to the people how we do business? I think most people here know how we do, but
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
for the record.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the November 17, 2022 City of Leesburg Planning Commission meeting. My name is Dan Miller, Planning and Zoning Director for the City of Leesburg. Staff present includes to my left Sabrina Mitchell, Administrative Assistant, Senior Planners Candy Harper, Christine Rock, and Diane Pasewitz, and Planners Max Van Allen and Melissa Metters. We do have a meeting agenda on the table by the exit door. If you'd like to speak on a case, we ask that you sign the speaker's registry and turn it in to Sabrina, who is sitting to my left. Under the rules of participation, the chairman will announce the case. We will read the exhibits into the record. Staff will read a recommendation into the record. The applicant will have an opportunity to speak about the case. The public will have an opportunity to speak on the case, and the chairman will close the case to the public. A vote will be taken, and the commission will move to the next case. Today, the Planning Commission will be making recommendations on the large-scale comp plan and ARD zoning cases on the agenda. These recommendations are going to be forwarded to the City Commission for a final decision. There are tentative dates which are listed in bold on the agenda for the City Commission hearings. And finally, on behalf of the planning staff and Leesburg Planning Commission, we want to thank you for participating in today's public hearing process. Mr. Chairman, as this is a quasi-judicial hearing, we're ready for the speakers to be sworn in and for you to announce the first case.
Yes, sir. Those who would like to speak before this commission, please rise and we'll get you sworn in.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
That's refreshing because the villages isn't going to speak. All right. Before you, you have the public hearing case LSCP 22462 Blue Cedar Large Scale Comp Plan Amendment that has been moved. They want to postpone it to the December 15 meeting. I need a motion to approve the postponement.
Mr. Chairman, public hearing case number LSCP 22462. I move to postpone to December 15th.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I got a bunch of seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving right along to the planned unit development. The rezoning on PUD 22463. They're also wanting to postpone. I need a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone PUD 22-463.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to postpone the meeting till December 15th, 2022. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. I have to remember to lower that before I can get it up. All right, public hearing case LSCP 22468, the Villages of Westlake Comp Plan Amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today we have two cases on the agenda. The LSCP 22468, which is the Villages of Westlake Comprehensive Plan Amendment, and following that is RZ 22-469, the Villages of Westlake rezoning to ARD. If it pleases the commission, I'll cover both of them in the introduction.
Please do.
Thank you, sir. By way of background, the property is generally located south of County Road 47 and east of the Florida Turnpike. There are two requests today. One is a comprehensive plan amendment, a large scale, and the other is a zoning case. Under the comp plan request, there is a mix of map and text amendments in which the following items are requested. First, they would like to revise the wording on future land use element policy 1.1.6 to remove a reference to the project acreage. They would also like to clarify that town centers are mixed-use centers. In other words, they're the same thing, and amend the Villages of Westlake project boundary by redesignating 18.34 plus or minus acres from Industrial Technology Park to the age-restricted development future land use, which was created by this board a couple of years ago. Under the second case, the request is to rezone this same 18.34 acre site from City P Public to ARD, which is age-restricted development. Candy Harper, Senior Planner, will present the maps and photo exhibits, including the aerial zoning, future and surrounding land use, wetlands flood zone maps, and CRA maps.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. On the screen before you is an aerial that shows the location of the village's sites. And I don't know that you can pick out that little 18-acre piece, but that's what's being added. So that will locate the sites for you for the villages. And on the next slide, we have the future land use, which is the industrial, technical, and commercial park zoning that we no longer use. So that's what it was. And what they are proposing is that it goes to ARD. Right now, it's in the city, so Lake County doesn't have anything. Yeah. Lake County future land use is blank because it's in the city. And then it's going to proposed ARD future land use. And the surrounding uses currently are residential. It may look vacant right now, but don't worry about that. It's coming.
Watch out.
All good.
Better not lean back, Tim.
I leaned too far back.
There's residential to the east. There's residential to the east and improved government and municipal to the south. Some state lands to the west and industrial vacant to the west as well. There are wetlands in and around the site, not much on the site, a little bit around it, and a little bit of flood zone to be concerned with. On the next map, a little bit of flood zone. And the pictures apparently didn't make it in the PowerPoint, but we did take pictures along the site. Are they? Apparently they were attached to the zoning.
There we go.
But we did stop and take pictures along 470 in our normal way. We shot south along 470 and then west and then across the street and into the site. And those are the same pictures you would see for the rezoning as well. And that is all I have, Mr. Miller.
Could we
did
go
post
ahead-
twice because there was a little side road there. So we did post along there as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Candy. Moving on to the departmental review summary for both cases, they're the same. The project the requests were sent out to all the different departments of the city of Leesburg and Lake County. There were no substantive comments received, all standard comments that did come in. And then per the City of Leesburg notice requirements, the project was sent out to the surrounding property owners, and there were no comments or responses received. As you can look on the map, there are very few actual property owners because of the way the properties are cut. At this point, if I may read the recommendations for these two cases into the record, please, Mr. Chairman.
Carry on, sir.
For the November 17, 2022 Villages of Westlake rezoning from on the wrong one. For the Villages of Westlake large-scale comp plan amendment, LSCP 22-468. The summary of the proposed herein is a request for property known as the Villages of Westlake, a master plan mixed-use project within the city. The proposed amendment seeks to revise the future land use element policy 1.1.6 to remove references to project acreage and project boundary map and to clarify that all town centers are mixed-use centers. 2, amend the Villages of Westlake property boundary to reflect the newly added lands. And 3, redesignate an 18.34 plus or minus acre parcel from institutional to age-restricted development on the future land use map. Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of this request for the following reasons. 1, the request will amend the comprehensive plan future land use category on this 18.34 acre area of land to apply an appropriate future land use category for the Villages of Westlake property in the city of Leesburg. 2, project meets the requirements of Chapter 163.3184 Florida statutes for large-scale comprehensive plan amendments. 3, the request is compatible with the proposed future land use designation of ARD and with the adjacent properties under the future land use designations of industrial technology, commercial park, neighborhood mixed use, and institutional. The request is compatible with the proposed zoning designation of ARD, age-restricted development, and with the adjacent property zoned ARD and PUD, plan unit development, as well as with public P. And 5, the proposed future land use designation of ARD permits uses compatible with the Naval Undersea Warfare Center, Oklahoma, and the American Planning Association land use recommendations for compatibility with the NUWC buffer zone. The action requested is to vote to approve the large-scale comp plan map amendment designation from institutional to age-restricted development together with Exhibit 1 legal description, Exhibit 2 sketch for description, and Exhibit 3 policy text revisions as attached hereto, and forward to the City Commission for their consideration. On the zoning recommendation for Villages of Westlake, rezoning 18.34 acres from P public to ARD age-restricted development under case number RZ 22469. The Planning and Zoning Division recommends approval of this request for the following reasons. 1, the proposed request to apply the ARD zoning district on the 18.34 acres is consistent with appropriate legally mandated planning and development practices in Florida, including the establishment of zoning districts and supporting land development regulations. 2, the proposed request is compatible with adjacent property zoned ARD and PUD. 3, the proposed request is compatible with the proposed future land use designation of age-restricted development and with adjacent properties under the future land use designations of industrial technology, commercial park, neighborhood mixed use, and institutional. And 4, the proposed request is consistent with the City of Leesburg Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Element Goal 1, Objective 1.6. The action requested is vote to approve the proposed rezoning from P public to ARD age-restricted development together with Exhibit 1 legal description, Exhibit 2 sketch for description, and as attached here too, excuse me, and forward to the City Commission for their consideration. Mr. Darren Taylor of Holtzman Vogel Law Firm in Tallahassee is here to answer any questions you may have. Staff is recommending approval for both of these projects. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
I have a question, staff.
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. Why is it a large-scale comp plan when it's only 18 acres?
That was a question that we asked as well. And under the state statutes, because the policy change will impact the entire area,
Okay.
then that's much, much greater than the 50. And I believe the wording in the state statute under Chapter 163, and I forget the exact quote, but that would cause it to be a large scale. So we did
I
have the
figured that might
same
have been
question, and that was it answered. And hope I'm pretty close on the answer there,
Okay.
Darren, but
I was assuming that, but
yes, sir. No, that's a good question.
that's it.
I was hoping the Navy would show up.
Yeah.
Darn. The,
Just to clarify, staff was not, sir.
How
I
far
think
away
you all know
is it?
what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion from the commission? Any questions? Any questions from of the village?
I got a question.
Please.
On the 18 acres, approximately how many,
Ken, move the microphone to you.
oh, sorry.
That's okay.
On the 18 acres, I am just curious, am I reading this wrong, that there's going to be 14,185?
No, sir, that is, if I may, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
that's the total of all of the village's lands in
Okay.
Leesburg. They're actually not changing the total number of units, anything at all. The actual changes are showing under the comp plan case, which show the change in wording to amendment to policy 1.1.6, which are just clarifications, is all they're making there.
Okay, so approximately how many units per acre is going to be developed? I mean, I'm sure it's already established, but I'm just curious.
Memory is failing me, it's pretty low. Do you happen to remember, guys? It's, I want to say it's under 3, but I do not remember, to be totally honest. I can find out for you and call you. There's a large amount of land that has been purchased by the villages on the north side of County Road 470, and then there's also down County Road 48 on, I believe it's on both sides of County Road 48. We don't have maps that indicate that for this case, but I can have some made and sent over to you to show it's a significant amount of acreage, several thousand acres.
Okay. All right, so 18 acres, approximately 3, so let's say 60 residences.
I would have to defer to the villages on the specifics because within the ARD zoning district, it does allow a mix of uses. And as plans go by, houses are built, and if the market changes, they have the right under their agreement to change. Do they want to have commercial centers, residential, that kind of thing? And Mr. Darren Taylor is here who can be a little more specific.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
Okay.
sworn in,
Thank you.
so if you want to.
Go ahead.
Is he an attorney?
Swear affirm the testimony about the business.
If he's an attorney, doesn't need to be.
He's planner.
I do.
You got to swear in attorneys twice.
I'm a land use planner, not an attorney, so, you know, there's a commissioner in Tallahassee who continues to think I am an attorney, but I'm not. But, you know, as far as the master planning and what specifically we would have on the 18 acres, I can't tell you that right now. I mean, basically, you know, we're still in master planning. So I can't tell you how many units would be on this 18 acres. It's too early to tell.
Is it going to be more? Or less than?
We're not asking for any additional units. And in fact, if you, in theory, when you consider the amount of development that was already permitted under the institutional category, we're not using that. In fact, we're just simply saying the entitlements that we already have for all of Westlake, we're simply would include or spread on this property. So there's less potential development that you have on the city's future land use map with this change than you would leaving it the way it is.
Okay, so as long as, I was just curious that there was not going to be more close together than the existing villages' residences right now.
No, that's not the case.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a question totally unrelated.
Yes, sir.
One of the
Out of order. I got a soccer game.
one of the villages or one of the centers over there is, I think, called the Village of Dabney. Is that correct?
I'm gonna defer to you guys.
Could be.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I was just curious if that's for our gentleman here in Leesburg, Hubert Dabney, who was a well-known teacher and coach here for years and years. I was curious.
Hi, Marty Zupp from the Villages. I have not been sworn in.
This is unrelated to
you
the,
read.
it's unrelated to the case anyway.
I do know that the folks in our design division, they go out and explore all the history of the area. As a matter of fact, I think just the other day they were down at the museum getting some information. So if there is a village of Dabney, it very well could have
Very
been,
good, Peg.
because they do use a lot of historical names.
I'm
pretty
surprised
sure,
they don't have a
I'm
village of
almost
Martin.
sure that I've seen that.
I'm
name.
trying.
It's one out there. I've
See
seen
it?
it.
Okay. Do you think it's for Hubert Dagny?
I'm not sure now. I'm not sure.
I don't know any other Dagny
That would be
family.
very thoughtful.
Well, there was two, but
Oh, well,
I would think it would be Coach Dabney's.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
especially if they doing their research. and
Because the funeral home was a cousin or something.
Any more questions that are relevant?
Now you sound like me. I'd cut him off.
Well, I could ask him after.
If I didn't have to live next door to him, I would. I'll entertain a
We're
motion.
pretty serious up here, as you can tell. Mr. Chairman, on case number LSCP 22468, I move to approve as presented.
I have a motion for approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, the same sign. Carry on 22469 on the rezoning. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval of RZ 22-469.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Gentlemen, we thank you for coming down here. We're honored to have you here. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Anything for the good of the order, Commission? Other than wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving?
Absolutely.
Don't eat too much.
See you, Marty.
Dan, do you have anything to bring up before the Commission?
No, sir, not that I can think of. Thank you.
No.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thanks, Sue.
No gossip or anything?
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I got it? Second? All in favor? Yo. Motion adjourned.
Everybody
I
have a-
want you to know
Happy
that is,
holiday.